Yeah, I heard about Islam. You marry a lot of women. Is it true that you can marry a lot of ladies? Whoever you want?
Okay. First of all, my name is Muhammad. What's your name?
Abdurrahman. Yeah, I'm Ramon. Ramon.
Ramon. Okay.
Same.
Focus on every single act that I will do. Okay. What I did at the beginning. My name is Muhammad. What's your name?
Ramon.
Ramon. How are you, Ramon? Where are you
Very,
from?
very good. I'm from the Philippines.
Philippines.
Yeah, so you are from Kuwait. Huh?
I'm from Kuwait.
What you're doing here in the Philippines?
Actually, I just came to visit, some of the Muslim brothers here, and see the country because I heard it's a wonderful country.
That's
It's a wonderful country, and I'm enjoying it.
That's good. of
I'm
you.
enjoying it. Keep focusing on every single thing that I will do and say. I shook hands with him first. I'll tell you at the end. Okay. It's a beautiful country. I'm here in your country, visiting the places, visiting some, brothers. As we Muslims, we love to visit, people for the sake of God. Do you believe in God?
Yes, of course.
You believe in God.
Yeah.
Okay. Regarding your question, first of all, I really thank you for your question, and it's a very important question that you asked. So I appreciate that. Now, in order to understand your question that why Muslim marries more than one and what's the reason behind it, and Arab, whatsoever that people have in their mind that Arab have a lot of wives. In
Okay.
order to understand the basic answer of it, you have to know the basics of Islam. If you know the basics of Islam, the answer will be very easy for you to comprehend and understand. So do you
Okay.
have some time?
Okay, I can give you 10 minutes.
Thank you very much. Okay. Normally people will not say how many minutes. Usually they say yes, go ahead, or yes, I have the time. But no problem. Okay.
I hope you will do it in 10 minutes.
I can do it in 3 minutes.
Oh, that's good.
Okay. Brother, first of all, I really liked your question, but in order to understand the principle behind why we get married, you have to know the principle of Islam. We as a Muslims, we worship Allah. You call it one God, but He is one God. We call Him Allah, which means also one God in English. And He's above the heaven. And He is the one who created me and created you and everything. And in order to understand that why He created us, He sent down the revelation, a book that you call it a manual book. Whenever you go and buy a TV or a fridge, always you will find a manual, right? How to use it, what you read, and you will know. Exactly, for human being, there is also a small booklet. There's a small, a book that God Almighty sent for us, that what's good for us and what's not good for us. Because He's our creator. You agree with me?
Okay, you can go ahead.
We both agree.
Okay.
We both agree that
Okay.
we have a creator. You agree and I agree. The creator created me and you, right?
Yes.
In order to understand the humanity and the system of the humanity, He sent us a book, a manual, right?
It's like a guideline.
It's a guideline, exactly. Now me and you are walking on the same path. Now for this guideline to come to us, it will not come to us flying, right? It should be someone having it and giving it to us. And the one who gave it to us is the Prophet Muhammad. He's the last and
Okay.
final messenger. Have you heard about Prophet Muhammad?
Who is Muhammad?
Muhammad is the prophet, like Jesus, I'm purposely saying Jesus because he's a Filipino and he is a Roman whatsoever. So he's a prophet because same like any other prophet, like a Jesus before him, like Moses, like Abraham, like whosoever.
Okay.
So it's a continuation of the prophet, and he's the last and final prophet. He came us with the guidelines and with the Quran, so we can follow this guidance and we will live happily. So this is the basic that we follow. Now regarding your question, that number one, we have to understand that God Almighty created us, and He knows already what's good for me and good for you.
Okay.
Right?
I can understand that.
Yeah. So that's why, if He says something in the book that we might not understand, why He told us to do this, why He told us not to do that, it's just a simple guidance you follow, and you will be happy. Just an example. When the doctor wants to give an injection to a baby, and the father holds the baby firmly in order to the doctor to give the injection. Does the father love the baby?
Of course, he loves the baby.
But the baby thinks no, the father does not love him because he's holding him very firmly because there's a needle will come in his hand, right? So there is some understanding which is limited to me and you, okay? We don't understand what is the logic behind it. But since the God Almighty knows the future and the past and everything, He wrote it down in the Quran, and it's not mandatory for a Muslim to marry four. There are some circumstances for it. So He gave us the permission that if you want to marry, not you have to marry, if you want to marry more than one, because she is a widow, or because she is divorced, or because she is having a problem, financial problem, and you are able to help, then we can able to help. So this is a small, brief answer, but if you are interested, I can give you my number or a copy of Quran, you can read it. Are you interested?
I'll think about it. Because I'm thinking about marrying four ladies.
But okay, we can go on with it, but since you can see how the conversation went?
Yes.
How the conversation went? Of course, because I'm dealing with it on day, night, on the streets, I was able to give an answer. Same thing with you, brothers. We will not close the session even if it's 7 o'clock in the night unless you will practice this thing. Okay?
But of course there are follow-up questions that will come up.
It will come. Look, the main thing is, he gave me a permission to talk, right? When he said, okay, I have 10 minutes, it doesn't matter. If it goes for half an hour, it doesn't matter because he gave me the time. But if I stop him and keep preaching, he will say, sorry, I have to leave. And he will leave, right? So this is the technique that I'm telling you to write down, to memorize, that number one, you have to acknowledge. Number two, what? Okay, offer. Number three is what? Basic. Which are?
Islam, one God.
Allah,
Number one, Allah.
Muhammad, and Revelation.
Now I want two people here sitting, and then two, every person with his companion. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Okay.
I want you by yourself, go with this, small practice. One will act as a non-Muslim, one as a Muslim. You will ask any question to that person, and it goes back and forth. Back and forth. Same thing with the sisters. Make two groups, Muslim, non-Muslim. Deal with one another. Yeah, Bismillah. All practice, maybe 1% of what, inshallah, you will do in future when you're talking to a person, a Muslim or a non-Muslim. Remind him about Allah. Remind him about Rasulullah, remind him about the book of Allah, and that's the basic. Later on, yes, you can extend the conversation, but do not give fatwa, do not say things that you don't know about Islam, because this is something very serious. Yes, brother.
As you just mentioned, we should not be giving fatwas.
Yeah.
And we should not be trying to attempt giving answers when we don't have the knowledge. So what if in situations I meet someone, a non-Muslim, and I follow the 3 steps we mentioned, but then I don't know completely how to answer the question he's asking. For example, if he say, why you don't eat pork? I will start out, okay, in order to understand your question, we need to understand some basic, but after that, I have no idea what should be.
Very good. Now, if you don't know, and that's very normal, you don't know about the answer, hijab, or you don't know about whatsoever. Simple. These are the principles. God Almighty told us to do so. This is obviously in the Quran, right? Don't eat pork, don't eat riba, don't eat interest and whatsoever. And to get more information about this question, can we be in touch? Just take his number, give your number, email, whatsoever, and I'll be in touch with you. And it's your responsibility, brothers and sisters, all of you. If you get anything like that, don't just drag yourself and say, okay, I will come back to you, and then, no. Believe me, for lifetime, this person will say that I met a Muslim and he didn't answer my question. So you are responsible. You are into, if you remember, with big responsibility, the reward is big and the amount of criticism is big. This person will never forget that he met a Muslim and he never gave him the answer. So you have to get the answer later on from the website, from Sheikh, from whatsoever, and be in touch with this guy. Now, inshallah, you will practice this small practice with the things that we got in the presentation, the mercy, the love, the way of life of Islam, that you have to implement it in your life. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us all. And before the adhan will be just right now. After the adhan, we will have a glad tiding, and we have a good news, inshallah ta'ala. Would you like to hear it now or after the salah? After the adhan. After the adhan, inshallah. The adhan will be just in a minute, and then inshallah ta'ala.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allah.
Those who would like to make wudu and everything, they can do it without delay. The glad tiding is, my brothers and sisters, do you remember I just told you that there will be something very expensive, maybe Islamic Union will give you a Rolex watches or cars, right? To be honest with you, it's more expensive than that. Do you know the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? If one person get guidance or get through Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by someone, it's as better than having the whole world. The good news is, alhamdulillah, we have one sister here, and she was not a Muslim, and she decided to accept Islam, inshallah ta'ala, and she will accept Islam right now, alhamdulillah. I believe Sister Elena? Alma, Sister Alma. MashaAllah. MashaAllah. So here we have, MashaAllah, Sister Ilma, and she came to this place as a non-Muslim. Alhamdulillah, she will leave this place as a Muslim. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep her firm in the deen of Allah, and I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless her with knowledge, to bless her with sunnah, to bless her with the understanding of the Quran. And I want all of you to make dua for her, and especially sisters, after she accepts Islam, I want you to welcome her, to hug her, inshallah, to take her number, and then be in touch with her, because alhamdulillah, she is our sister in Islam, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless her. So you're ready, Sister Alma? Inshallah. You will say the Shahada. You know the meaning of the Shahada, that you will witness in Arabic, and then inshallah you will say in English, that you witness there is only one God, that you believe in one God, right? And you believe in Prophet Muhammad as a messenger of God, and he is the final messenger. By saying that from your tongue, in Arabic or in English, the angel will write this thing in you, and then on the day of judgment, this one word will save you from the hellfire, inshallah. So by accepting it, alhamdulillah, as a Muslim, you have to be a good Muslim, practicing Muslim, do your best in this dunya, and I'm sure all the sisters, they are your sisters, they will help you to get better person, better Muslim, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you. So you will say after me, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasul Allah. I bear witness that there is no God except Allah, the one God. And I bear witness that Muhammad is messenger of Allah, and Isa is messenger of Allah. Allahu Akbar. Sister, please go there and then please welcome your sisters. All of you sisters, please, mashallah, attack.
Okay, guys.
Okay.
Too many hands pressed.
Hi everyone, I'm a new Muslim. As a question that I understand Allah creates us to worship Him. Then it comes to question that why Allah creates us to worship Him. That's my first question. Thanks.
It's a very good question. Thank you for your question. In order to understand this question, basic principles. So this is exactly how we start, mashallah. Now, sister, may Allah really reward you for your question, but all of us, we have to understand something. This is not for the sister, this is for all of us. This is how the ulama taught us and mashayikh taught us. Your question will be why, right? As the sister said. But for us, and this is something internally, not pinpointing on anyone, it's always better to say what is the wisdom behind Allah created us, instead of saying why Allah did it. Why Allah created us. Why Allah made pork haram. Why this, why. So Allah, because in Quran Allah says that we don't question Allah, but Allah questions us. So it's always good to rephrase our questions by saying, what is the hikmah, what is the wisdom behind Allah creating us and we worship Him? Does He need us to be, to worship Him, and etc., etc. So coming to the question of a sister, that what is the wisdom behind Allah creating us, and then what is the wisdom behind we worshiping Him? We have to know that Allah Almighty, He is Al-Azim. In Quran, in one of Allah's names and attributes, Al-Azim, Al-Quddus. Al-Azim means the greatest. Al-Quddus, that He is the purest. And He is Almighty. So by me worshipping Him, I will not increase even one atom of dignity or respect or majesty to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because He is already pure and He is Al-Azim, He is the greatest one. And me, by disobeying Allah and doing the worst sin on the face of this earth, I will not take even an atom from His majesty or His respect or His, greatness. So Allah Almighty created us. He says, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, لِنَبْلُوَكُمْ أَيُّكُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا. He created us and He wants us to worship Him, so He will see in this dunya who did the best job. He created us by His will. We are in this dunya by His will. Alhamdulillah, we are human beings. We didn't end up by being a tree or a rock or an animal. So Allah made us the best of the creation, insan, or a human being. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, moreover on this thing, He made us amongst Muslims, those who know who is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Moreover, He made us amongst the believers, which is one rank above than just being a Muslim. Not only that, we are worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. We are not worshipping any stones, or we are not worshipping anything, because unfortunately there are many Muslims, they are ignorant, they worship other things. So alhamdulillah, so it's a blessings after blessings after blessings that we are ending up by only worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the purpose is that Allah created us only for His worship, as the sister said. But why He needs our worship? He does not need anything. He is Al-Azim, He is Al-Quddus, He is the more pure, He is the greatest. He does not require any single thing. My 2 rak'ah or 10 rak'ah or 100 rak'ah that I will pray, it's for me, to benefit me in the grave or in the day of judgment. It will not, as I said, add a value in Allah's majesty, neither it will take anything from Allah's majesty. So why Allah created us? To worship Him. What is the wisdom of us worshipping Allah? Simple, because of our own benefit. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran that He created us, so He will see that who is worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Who attended the khutbah here yesterday? How many of you attended the khutbah? 1, 2, 3, 4. I was saying that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts us into some tests, right? Why He puts us into tests? Now I gave you the category of people, some people obedient and happy, some people obedient, unhappy, not obedient and happy, not obedient and not happy. The second category, those who are obedient, and I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us among those who are obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But at the same time, sometimes we face difficulties in our life. These difficulties have also some details, but we face difficulties because Allah Almighty is testing our sabr, testing our iman, testing our faith. After going through this, are you really worshipping Allah? Or is just, when everything is good in your life, alhamdulillah, you worship Allah, you say, thank you Allah, I'm a good Muslim. And any small thing happened to you, an accident, you lost your job, something happened to you, someone come and hit your car, whatsoever happened to you, you will just come out of your way. Why Allah did this to me? Why me? Why not someone else? Always why? That's why I said it's not always good to question Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In this case, we have to have sabr. Allah is seeing at that moment what you will do. Are you connected with Allah? You are saying Alhamdulillah, because Prophet ﷺ said in a hadith, إِنَّ أَمْرَ الْمُؤْمِنِ كُلُّهُ لَهُ خَيْرٌ عَجَبًا لِأَمْرِ الْمُؤْمِنِ. The matter of a believer, again, he didn't say Muslim, he said believer. which is the highest rank than the Muslim. Ajib, his matter is wonderful, outstanding. How come? If anything good happened to this person, a Muslim, good happened to him, he will make shukr. He will thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He said, alhamdulillah. He got a job, he got a wife, he blessed with baby, he got promotion, a new job, better salary, whatsoever. He will say, alhamdulillah, فَكَانَ خَيْرًا لَهُ. So there will be better in him, or in his life. وَإِذَا أَصَابَتْهُ ضَرَّاء. And if anything bad happened to him, صَبَرْ فَكَانَ خَيْرًا لَهُ. Then he will have sabr, so Allah will put also good into it by rewarding him. So everything that we are doing is for our own good, not for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Alhamdulillah that Allah made us Muslims so we can gain a lot of reward, and that this reward will help us in our grave and in the hereafter. Allahu a'lam.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Hamza, and 2 years ago I started, I was thinking about doing the dawah, and I did the dawah to some of my friends, and I ended up losing my 20 friends, and which includes the friends and the friends of friends. So I wanted to ask that how to approach my non-Muslim friends. Firstly, because when I will say to them that, okay, I'm Muslim, and let's talk about it, and I want to talk about it, and then they will see that I'm going to do this, and then they will just close their ears and they won't say anything. And so I needed something that I can approach them direct or indirectly, let them think themselves that maybe they're on the wrong way. And I mean, I want to know the best approach so I won't be ended up losing the friends. And I have 2 more questions.
Sure.
Recently, I met a family. The guy name was Muhammad Hassan, and his wife, her name was Aisha, and they had a son. I asked the son name, and they said Matthew. And then I asked them that you're Muslim, your wife is Muslim, but why the kid is not Muslim? And then they say that we are more than Muslim. And then they said that when the kid will grow up to 18 years old, so we will let the kid decide what religion he will choose. Will he choose Islam or what? Of course, I said to them that you're the parents, and of course the kid will learn from you. You're the one who's responsible for the kid. He won't be responsible by himself. So you are the one to teach him. But at the end of the day, they said to me that they don't care. They care about the freedom of the kid. And my third question is this. Recently, 2 weeks ago, I gave a little bit of the information to my female non-Muslim friend, and she said that I heard and learned, I heard about Islam, and I know the things. The only thing I cannot do is, I cannot do the hijab. And she said that maybe I will wear the full body clothes, because nowadays she's wearing shorts. And she said maybe I will cover my body, but I will never do the hijab. So she said to me directly, which was surprising for me, she said, can you ask your Allah that can He forgive me for this? Other than that, I can believe that there is one God and Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is the last messenger. But the only thing I cannot do is the hijab. So those were my 3 questions. How to approach that Muslim family, what can I say to them, and that my female friend about the hijab.
The brother asked the first question, saying that 2 years ago he wants to get involved into da'wah, and then he wants to practice. He started telling his friends, and he lost 20 of his friends, and friends of friends. So how can I do this? How can I manage this? How can I don't lose friends? Brothers, I don't know how many years ago, when I started practicing, and then I didn't give da'wah at that time. I just started practicing and going to the mashayikh, ulama, and getting knowledge from them. At that time, I lost 100% of all my friends. 100%. Not 20, all of them. Because there were some other people, to be honest with you. So they are seeing me only praying, only performing prayer, I become the weirdest person, the extremist person, the crazy person. So honestly, I would like to tell you what my non-Muslim friend told me when he accepted Islam. An American person in Kuwait, he accepted Islam and he lost his family member, wife, kids, everything. He lost his almost the colleague at work. He lost everything. And sometimes, we all like to hear the stories of the rivers. So same today we heard about Brother Firdaus and everything. So he was telling the story to everyone and everyone is like, Miskeen, this guy is really poor guy. You know what he said? He said, I don't care. Alhamdulillah, I found Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's the best thing. He said, I don't care about my family. I found Allah. Because I found Allah, alhamdulillah, I'm happy. I lost my family member, I lost my colleagues, I lost even my job and whatsoever. I found Allah, I found Islam. So it's not about how many people you are losing, it's about how much you are closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the main thing. Ibrahim alayhi salam, Prophet Ibrahim, peace be upon him, he himself alone, Allah said in Quran, Inna Ibrahim kana ummatan. How can one person be an ummah? Right? The ummah nation, right? Ummah. Because he was on haqq. His father was against him, his people was against him, the whole community was against him, the whole people, everyone. Ibrahim and he is calling and causing problem to our community and whatsoever. But because he was on haqq at that time in the entire world, Allah called him, he was an ummah by himself. So I don't care, but yes, I have to be also, use hikmah, use wisdom, that approaching friend in a nice manner, but if I know that he's completely far away, I should be far away from him. If he is far away from Allah, I have to be far away from him. Why? Because if he is not listening to you, he will drag you back. He will drag you back. So it's better to lose them and ask Allah to give you better friends and better environment than going back to them. Because they are somehow involved into sins and smokes and whatsoever, Allahu A'lam. So the best thing is, I'm not saying neglect them, make dua for them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in a hadith, the Prophet said in a hadith, the best dua you can make for your brother behind his back. So since he is not there, you in your salah and your sujood, between the adhan and iqamah, these are the best times, raise your hand, Ya Allah give them hidayah. If you cannot reach them, Allah's hidayah will reach them. So make dua for them. If you are afraid that they can drag you, they will argue with you, why you have been changed, you become extreme and whatsoever, then just ignore that, make dua for them, and make you, alhamdulillah, you have a, mashallah, the whole community here. So they are your friend. So don't bother about them. I told you my own story. I didn't bother. Alhamdulillah, Allah gave me better people, I involved in da'wah, a lot of things. So just leave it on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Regarding your second question, that parents, Muslim parents giving name of their child Matthew and claiming that they are better Muslims. Sorry to say, no, they are not. If they said at the end, because this is what you said, at the end they said, we don't care, then who you care for? If you don't care for Allah and Islam, then who you care for? And you have this Western mentality that we will leave our kid to pick his religion, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's Messenger said, that kullu mawludin yulidu ala fitra, every children, every baby, born baby, he borns on fitrah. Except his father or a mother will make him a Jew or a Christian or Majus or whatsoever, a fire worshipper. So they are not even bothered to teach him about Allah. What if he ends up, if they are thinking, if they are so open-minded, mashallah, and wants their son to choose, what if he ends up by being an atheist? Right? They are thinking, our son will choose. He will choose, may Allah protect him. What if he chooses to be an atheist? He will say, I don't care about God, I don't believe in God, this is all fake, I don't believe. What then father will do? So from the beginning, the father and the basics of the father and mother is not right. It's not right. That's why, sorry?
They gave the name.
They already gave Matthew, Luke, Mark, I don't know what name to their son, right? So, may Allah guide them. This is what you can do, Because if from the beginning they are doing this, Allahu A'lam what will happen. Of course, we should not lose hope. This is as a da'iya's character. Never lose hope. The Prophet ﷺ kept hope in Ta'if for next 35 years. And I didn't tell you this, by the way. You know, look at the mercy of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Islam. Imagine that if he gave the command to the angel to wipe the whole Ta'if, what will happen? There's no more Ta'if, right? No more Ta'if, no more people of Ta'if. The sand and the house become same, right? Everything demolished. You know today, how many scholars came from Ta'if? Only Ta'if. More than 900 scholars coming from Ta'if. 900 scholars, only the scholars. There are many people. So imagine, look, yani how many 900 scholars doing all the way, teaching people Quran and Hadith and teaching people the Islam and everything. Imagine at that time if the Prophet ﷺ said, demolish them. Khalas, they beat me, they hit me, I'm in pain. Look at the strategy that, no, he kept. And from the whole history, from more than 1,400 years, more than 900 ulama came from there. SubhanAllah. So look at the strategy. So never lose hope as a da'iyah working in the field of da'wah. Never lose hope in anyone. Make dua for them. May Allah give them hidayah to mother and father and the children. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. The third question was about a non-Muslim woman. She loves Islam, she is convinced, she likes Islam, she believes in Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, she believes in everything. May Allah give her hidayah. Ameen. If she's only afraid about hijab, we cannot say from the beginning that don't wear hijab, because whatever she will get at the beginning, it will be stuck in her mind forever. What we can tell her, that okay, accept Islam, practice Islam, alhamdulillah, you want to wear covered clothes, that's really good. Try your best to cover. If you cannot cover, keep trying. What's the difference between telling her, don't wear hijab, Allah will forgive you, and telling her that keep trying? Because there is a hope. But if you say, don't wear, Allah will forgive you, forever she will not wear. Right? Even though this is sin and this is sin. She's not wearing sin. But it's better to die on a sin, not wearing hijab, or a Muslim dying drinking alcohol, but still he is a Muslim. It's better that he will get a little bit punishment and then he will end up in the Jannah, rather than dying on a non-Muslim faith or a non-Islamic faith and then ending up his or her life into the hellfire. So advising her with hikmah, that, as I told you, number one, that mashallah, you are convinced, and this is the main thing in Islam, that you have to believe in Allah and the Prophet of Allah and follow the guidance of Quran and Rasulullah. And you cover your body, you cover your everything, and try your best. No, I cannot, no problem. You cannot? Okay, say Bismillah, at least take the Shahada, start praying, at least cover yourself when you're praying. This is obligatory. While you're in the room, while you're somewhere inside. Then try. She will say, I cannot. No problem. You cannot. I understand that you cannot. But don't give her a straight answer, that, as I told you. A straight answer will be stick, and then khalas. So, inshallah, and keep making dua. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for you. Yes, sister.
Thank you. Salam. As a university student, I want to ask a question. I want to know how to balance our school life and the faith life. I mean, our reasoning and our belief. Yeah.
This is just asking how to balance her school life, studies, and her belief, and religious life and whatsoever. Simple as that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, وَاسْتَقِمْ كَمَا أُمِرْتَ. That be on the straight path as much as possible, or as you have been commanded. Now I'm doing a study, for example, or here, I'm studying here, talking to you, giving you some presentations and some lessons and some trainings and whatsoever. When it was 5 o'clock, what happened? Exactly at 5 o'clock, what happened? Adhan. And after Adhan, what happened? We went for Salah. And we came back and we said continue. So, all you have to do the balance. And this is what I'm exactly, mashallah, because you're a student, right? Because you're a student, I met a student at both universities of Hong Kong, Science and Technology and Hong Kong University. Everyone, all the students, they have the same problem. And I told them, Balance your life. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةً وَسَطًا. And we made you into a balanced nation. We have to be balanced in everything. We cannot be possessed by study, and neglect salah, neglect the rights, neglect. Some people came with a weird idea. If you are focusing in your salah in Ramadan, then you don't have to fast because you have to focus. Focus needs strength. Where this came from this idea? Weird. No, because you need the strength and you need to focus. So because of that, you need to eat. So I will neglect the fasting because of. No, that's not true. You are misbalancing. When it's prayer time, pray. When it's time for you to do some other ritual, do. If you are in Ramadan and you are doing the studies, fast and do studies. All you have to do is balancing. Don't be possessed with your business and neglect Allah's duty. Don't be possessed with your children and then forget to give them Islamic tarbiyah, Islamic knowledge, Islamic upbringing. You have to have balance in your life. So it's very simple, sister. I know that you are very focusing in your studies, so you think that you're not giving proper rights to the Islamic studies whatsoever. No problem. Studies is for some time, okay, but also you have to practice your 5 times daily prayer. This is your connection with Allah. So there is a link between your belief and your iman and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But if you say because my study I cannot pray, no, there's some problem with it. Not you, anyone. If a person says, well, I'm a businessman, my time is money and I have to do, no, sorry. What you're doing is wrong. Prophet ﷺ, he was a businessman. Other prophets, they were businessmen as well. They used to do some business. Everyone has to balance his life. So it's not just for sister, every one of us. Don't say I'm super busy. The minimum, wallahi, a person, a layman, give me a small, very simple idea. He said, if you're working, because sometimes a person, he's an IT guy, working on the IT guy, they stick with the computer, right? They don't move from the computer. So it's like always, working on the computer. Salah time, Dhuhr time, he's in the office. My friend, yalla, salah. Oh, okay, I'm busy over here. After 1 hour, become 1 o'clock. We pray at 12 o'clock in Kuwait. 1 o'clock, yalla, habibi. Salah, habibi means my dear. Come on. Oh, yeah, I'm busy. Until 3 o'clock, Asr came, and he is still busy. And I said, what's wrong with you? Wallahi, I have too much work, the manager is pressurizing me, this and that. And I said, did you went to the bathroom? Because this is what another person told me. He said, believe me, a person can get 5 to 10 minutes time to get up from his work or desk to go to the bathroom for something really, you cannot even mention. But you for salah, no, you're so busy for salah. So I asked him the same thing. I said, during 3 hours, have you went to the bathroom? He said, yes. I said, so you have a time for bathroom, but you don't have 5 minutes for salah? Wallahi, I'm busy, I'll talk to you. Wallahi, this is what exactly he told me. So that's the problem. If you have really time to go and eat your meal and go and for the call of nature and everything, you don't have 5 minutes to pray for rak'ah. Come on. So this is our problem. We are not balancing our life. So we have to balance it, or we have more than 5 minutes. We can learn, we can read hadith, we can read page of Quran. It's in our hand. We have to balance our life. Don't say that you don't have time. The time is in your hand, but you don't know how to manage it. Wallahu a'lam.
Assalamu alaikum, I'm Navish. I need to ask you something. Like, I'm working and I'm a student as well. So I teach private tutors, like for kids, Hong Kong non-Chinese. They're not Muslim, and I try to wear hijab at my work. Usually I don't. And the kids ask me, oh, why you're wearing it so scary and all. And then I ask some suggestions from other people. Like, is it okay if I don't wear hijab only in work and then I wear it back once I'm outside the house? And some people say it's okay because Allah is looking at you and it's fine as long as you wear it back again once you're outside. So is it really okay?
All of you heard the question, right?
Yeah.
I don't have to repeat. So, subhanallah, I can think similar situation. If a person is working in a company, and in that company, let's say they are working in a non-Muslim company, and he's the only one Muslim guy working in that company, and they have 1 hour break in between, 1 to 2, 12 to 1, whatsoever. And all these colleagues, they drink alcohol, right? And they say, hey, Muhammad, whatever, come, drink with us. No, I'm a Muslim. Come on, what kind of Muslim you are? You don't drink with us, we are your colleagues. Come on, by this you are offending us. By this you are not coming with us and sitting with us. Will you think? No, right? Hijab, alcohol, salah, this is the red line. We should not cross it. Whatsoever happens, whatsoever. If a person say, we will fire you if you don't drink. I don't care. I don't care. You and your work will go to hell. I don't care. Okay, I will resign. Instead of you firing, I will resign. I don't care. This is exactly what will happen, right? So why we are so keen that, I will not drink alcohol, but yeah, maybe salah I will not pray. Maybe this I will not do it. So no, this is bottom line. These are the commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Unless, there's a person who's putting a gun on your head and will say, remove your hijab. You have two options. Not to remove and die and you will be shaheed. Wallahi. And then remove and your heart is not convinced to remove, Allah will forgive you. Simple as that. So alhamdulillah, I don't believe that someone is putting gun on you to stop praying or drink alcohol or something like that. So it's simple as that. If there's no threat on your life, then you can manage. Inshallah, then you can manage this. But with hikmah, again, with hikmah you can tell them, and I believe you said, kids, you're working in school?
I'm working as a private tutor. I go to their house and teach them particular subjects.
It's just a matter of kids saying, you look scary, you look this and that. No problem. You can be scared for 1 hour. That time I teach you. Simple. Yeah, you can make it in a fun way. So you will not be even offended, and you can make a funny environment or a fruitful environment, and that's it. No problem. You have 24 hours, 1 hour, get scared. You have 23 hours. Do whatever you want to do. Simple. Allahu Akbar. Yes, sir.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Sheikh, I just want to have a little bit of sharing when it comes to some unpleasant things that, especially when I embrace Islam, I have experienced being not accepted by the community, but not all. Just a few people would show me some sort of hostility or whatsoever. But alhamdulillah, maybe they are thinking that my intention is not really that pure, or my intention is, there's something behind my intention to become a Muslim. But I proved them wrong, alhamdulillah. And then there is another thing also, that during our street da'wah, we have a poster that says, I love Jesus because I am a Muslim. This is a very catchy poster, especially with the non-Muslim, especially also with the Christians. But when it comes to Muslims, their mind are so, one brother, a Pakistani brother, just confront me. Why you do like that? Why you say you love Jesus? This is something that we should learn, or that the Muslims should learn, because they are thinking that we are ignoring Prophet Muhammad SAW when it comes to saying that we love Jesus. And I hope we can enlighten some of those the real Muslims about this kind of things, that we are not promoting Jesus, because they are thinking that we are promoting Christianity when it comes to this. Your thoughts?
Basically, it's a comment. May Allah reward sister for her comments. Simple as that. Of course, in everything that you do, in everything in your life, believe me, even now, alhamdulillah, we are sitting here for more than, mashallah, how many hours from 10 o'clock till now, and we are doing this for the sake of Allah. You are here for the sake of Allah. I'm here for the sake of Allah. You will find some people somewhere, X, Y, Z, they are criticizing us. Oh, these people, they are wasting their time. So you will find somewhere, somehow, that people will not like what you are doing. Even it says that, the angels, they are hated by shayateen, right? So even the angels, they are not liked by shayateen. So there is no way that, you will do something perfectly and then other people will not criticize you. So a Muslim, he is thinking that you are promoting Jesus, you are neglecting Muhammad. It's his fault. We know our intention. We are telling Christians that we love Jesus as you love Jesus. In fact, we love him more than what you claim. And that's simple. So Jazakallah khair. It's just a matter of knowledge. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless us with the knowledge. And it's very important to read. To read. The first verse, read. With understanding, which means developing yourself and updating yourself, as I said at the beginning. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh Muhammad. So as a da'iyah, how do you deal with your friends or like close people that you love? Obviously, we love all Muslims and brothers and we treat them as like our own brothers and sisters. But when they seek for help and then they commit sins and they go downwards and then like I'm talking about shirk or kubur, zina. How do you protect yourself first? Because I get really depressed and really hurt, emotionally attached, and then at that stage, I what should I do, or how should I help them to that stage?
Okay, you're talking about the best friends, the closest friends, or in general?
Close and in general, people who seek help and like long term, since yeah.
Sister said very important thing, just at the last, at the end, long term, you know. And this should be with you, all of you guys, if you have a friend. Now, for example, do you think the da'wah that I just gave to, you know, Brother Abdul Rahman, you know, and we were talking, and he was acting as a non-Muslim, and I'm a Muslim, and we met on the street. Is it the same da'wah with my relative or a friend? No. No. I met this guy, I had 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 10 minutes, whatsoever, to convey my message. Assalamu alaikum. That's it. But with my friends, with my colleagues, with my family member, yesterday one sister was saying that I am married to a convert brother, and his family, they are not Muslim, and his sister is asking me questions and that. Same thing. I said, your da'wah plan should be long term, because you are a family member. She is, you know, sister of your husband. So you are seeing her on different occasions, here and there and here. So every time it's a different strategy. So I can use the strategy of giving da'wah on the street, one-to-one, and apply it on a person who's my colleague or my friend that I'm seeing him for a long time, and I will see him for a year or two or whatsoever. And completely it's different than the da'wah people do on the stage for more than 3 hours. Dr. Zakir Naik, mashallah, he's standing and he's going on and on and on for 3 hours. This is another type of da'wah. That people came all the way for him and they are willing to sit for 3 hours. That's good, alhamdulillah. You are giving da'wah to a family member, it's a different way of da'wah. I am giving da'wah on the street, it's a different. So now, coming back to your point, sister, that how you will deal with it, long term. Your akhlaq, your manners, how you dealing with them, you know. And if they are doing something wrong, try to show them that you are not satisfied, you are not agreeing of what they are doing. So let them see on you, you know. Not necessarily that you have to say no, otherwise, of course you have to say no on the right time. But if you say every time no, 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 you will become extreme Muslim, you will become whatsoever the name they will call you, you know. But I'm not saying say no, don't say no ever, no. Say no when it's a good condition, good situation, whatsoever. You know better, I don't know, right? So if you see a person, he is really, or she is really needing in help or whatsoever, help her. So you know that next time, because you helped her, next time when you advise her in a nice way, with mercy, with patience, with hikmah that I just mentioned, she will listen. But it doesn't mean that she will listen and she will change herself next day. No. Your thing is just to keep dropping the water, drop by drop, which is like advice, small advice, until you will find the change. So it's your ikhlas with Allah while giving da'wah, and your long-term relation with your friends will bring a result. But you cannot change everything in one day. Prophet ﷺ didn't change the entire ummah in one day. How long it took for him? 23 years. From the time he received revelation until he died and he made a nation, 23 years. So we cannot change a friend and a community or 5, 6, 10 friends in one day. No, it takes time. So may Allah make it easy for us.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sheikh, Jazakallah for sharing. What would you say to some new Muslims entering the deen? Well, they worry that income might not be 100% halal. For example, they work for insurance industry, they work for finance, casino, things like that, and they earn a really high income. If they lose the job, their income might be cut 70%, 80%, and the families who are not Muslims are going to say many bad things on them, pressurizing them, things like that, and they getting married, buy a house, things like that. So what would you say to these circumstances? Just go ahead.
Exactly. So, clear question from a brother that, what's my advice to those who are new Muslims? Before Islam, they're working into insurance company, or they're working into casino, or here and there, they're paid really high. And if they change or resign their work, then it's like 80% of income is gone. And then they have families, then they have this and that. So what, should we do, or what should he, think about? Again, it does not mean that if a person is a new Muslim, yes, we can be with him flexible as much as possible, but we should not reach to the point that we will make haram halal, right? We can say, well, because you're a new Muslim, no problem. Say Bismillah and work in an insurance company. Say Bismillah and work in a nightclub. Say Bismillah and go serve alcohol. No. These are red lines, as I said. Haram is haram. No, yani no, right? But yes, we have to deal with this person, specifically a new Muslim, with a little bit of flexibility. Because if he accepts Islam, and you will come to him, and you will just give him all this kind of things that, the alcohol is haram, and this is haram, and working in a bank haram, and working in a... He will say, you know what, keep your Islam with you. I'm really good into my situation, and I'm get... You just come to him and advise him, or any new Muslim, that, take it gradually. Take it gradually, First of all, he should start practicing. Number one, his relation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number one, don't tell him, even change your name. Maybe he will not like it. Our thing is, once a brother or a sister will accept Islam, change your name, change your name, change your name. No, it's not necessary, Or, unfortunately, they don't use hikmah. A man accepted Islam, let's go to the hospital. Why hospital? Because, subhanAllah, yeah, circumcision. He said, what? Well, that's true, by the way. It's a true story. A person accepted Islam, they decided in the night to go to the hospital. He said, why hospital? He said, yeah, because you have to circumcise. He said, excuse me? Yes, you have to circumcise. He said, really? He couldn't even understand and comprehend that, this is like in real. He said, yes, you have to. Every Muslim have to. It's not, we have to, by the way. It's an optional. Yes, it's highly recommended, but it's not fard, it's not obligatory. So the guy was afraid. He said, really? He said, yeah, you took shahada, you have to now. The guy said, wallahi, look what the guy said. The guy said, you know what? Okay, I changed my mind. I don't want to, really, he said, I don't want to accept Islam. I want to go back to the Christianity. So another clever guy said, oh, so you're leaving deen. In this case, we will chop your head. He was confused. He said, your religion is strange. If someone gets into your religion, you will cut him from down. If someone leaves your religion, you will cut him from top. SubhanAllah. So we don't have hikmah. This is the hikmah, This is the hikmah, that we don't use hikmah. He's a new Muslim, So how are you dealing with him? So just gradually. Don't change his name. Don't take him to the hospital. Don't do anything with him. Let him get connected with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The main thing, his relation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. After that, he is connected with Allah, he will understand little by little. After reading, of course, the knowledge, as the sister Medina said, Allah reward her, that knowledge is, once she will read, that Allah says it's haram. Allah says pork haram. Because he is linked with Allah, Allah is everything for him now. So either it's coming from Muhammad or Abdullah or Khalid, it doesn't matter. It's coming from Allah, it matters. So he will say, Allah says, don't deal with riba, don't deal with interest. I'm working in the core of interest, an insurance company. He will think about it. But we have to provide him with knowledge. We should not bombard him with haram and do's and don'ts. No. But our problem here is, as Muslims, as a da'iyah, as a teacher or a friend or whatsoever involved in da'wah, we don't care about the one who accepts Islam. He's accepting Islam a month or a 2 or a 3. He doesn't know how to read Fatiha. It's our problem. Wallahi, it's our problem. 3 months, he cannot recite Fatiha. Come on, guys. You can learn Fatiha in 1 day. You can learn Fatiha in 7 days maximum. 3 months, a brother, he doesn't know how to read Fatiha in his salah. Then it's our problem. So we have to deal with the situation in a very sensitive way, and we have to feel mercy and empathy towards this guy who's a new Muslim. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the ability to deal with new Muslim with hikmah. Ameen.
Assalamualaikum. Yes, I'm Isma from Cambodia. So I want to say about Islam in Cambodia. Yes, I work in Ministry of Labor and Educational Training, and over there I have only our 2 women Muslim over there. And after my work in department, so I have work in regard to the youth, and I have a lot of event and program. So when I join the program, our non-Muslim always ask me that, Sister Isma, why you don't touch the beer, and why you don't eat the chicken and beef not halal? So I reply to them that I cannot drink the beer because I'm not afraid of the human being. They say that, why you not test, because here no our Muslim, just only you. I say that I'm not afraid of our human being. I just afraid of Allah, because I worship Allah and I follow our messenger, Prophet Muhammad, and then I follow Quran. So everything, it means that I am not afraid of our human being. And then on the Ramadan also, they say that, Sister Isma, why you not eat just a small because someone not know you? I said that no, cannot. And everywhere that I join the program, I don't eat anything, just only the juice and mineral water only. Because, and also in Cambodia, and only me before our Muslim not wear hijab, women to go to work, and only 2 of me and I also wear hijab in the work. And it means that some our Muslim women did not wear go to study. She is a teacher at the university. She not wear the hijab. When she see us wear hijab, I asked her that, sister, you must wear the hijab because you are a teacher. You take over all the students non-Muslim in the university. Why you are Muslim, you not wear the hijab? Because you must proud by yourself. You are Muslim. And then maybe 3 months ago, she wear the hijab and she said that, thank you so much for you advise me, because she afraid, she decided she is a Muslim and she wear the hijab in the workplace. And other friends, she work in other government, also she wear hijab, she see us and she wear hijab the same. And Alhamdulillah, now our government, although our Muslim women wear hijab all the whole Cambodia. So for students also, it means that all the Muslim women or Muslim in Cambodia can wear hijab for make a car, wear hijab in the class. Every in Cambodia we can wear hijab. Alhamdulillah. Yes, thank you.
One sister here, she's having a question.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brother, you already mentioned how to do da'wah to friends or colleagues. I just want to ask a bit more about doing da'wah to families, especially for new Muslims to Muslim families. Especially we have to live with them. That on the one hand we try to practice. Some of our practice they may feel like it's very inconvenient for them. At the same time, we have to do those things because it's our responsibilities, and we're very happy to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But at the same time, our worship seems to be leaving a bad impression of Islam on them. So how do how do we balance that? How do we keep doing what we have to do, but at the same time talk about Islam to our family, because they may have very strong reaction against Islam and say many bad things, and if we start talking about it in the family. Thank you.
First of all, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for your sister. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for all the viewers, brothers and sisters, those who are dealing with their family members. I know that when it comes to the family members, especially not the friends, it's very difficult because you love your parents, you love your fathers, mother, sister, whatsoever, and at the same time you want khair, you want good for them, but sometimes as a reaction, you wear hijab, you practice Islam, you do salah, you bow, you prostrate, and as a reaction they will come and laugh at you and get upset at you, what you are doing and all these things. So it's a really challenge. It's a really challenge for you Muslims. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for all of them. Amen. Now sister, honestly, I don't know what to tell you, because this is the phrase that every, or not every, but most of the new Muslims go through. I just told you that this friend of mine, he accepted Islam. He not only now living with his family, he was kicked out. He was kicked out. It's not easy. Wallahi, it's easy to say, it's easy to talk, and it's easy to people to listen and hear. But just imagine, a person is accepting Islam, going home, telling that, honey, my wife, my love, I accepted Islam. What? No, I'm not accepting it. No, but Islam is good, Islam is this. No, I don't care. Either you come back to your own religion or whatsoever, or get out from my house. It's not easy. A person is ending up by sleeping somewhere else or sleeping, out of his house. It's not easy. And especially when it comes from your own mother or a father. That those who really, your mother who gave you birth, she was, in the night she was not sleeping while, she's trying to make you sleep, she is not sleeping. When you are tired and when you are sick, crying whole night, she's the one who's awake. So it's really difficult when it comes that she is telling us, or you, or him, or her, to get out, leave my house. You become Muslim, you become this, you become that. So I know it's not easy, it's not easy. But again, it's a choice that, you made for the sake of Allah, to worship Allah, to submit your will to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Those who have sabr, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned here, and I mentioned, that Allah will give ajr to those who have sabr. So all you need is right now, is to make dua for them. I don't know now what's your relation with your family, how flexible you are you able to talk to them, not to talk to them, I don't know. But what you can do is to have patience, sabr, and make dua for them. And yourself that, oh Allah, protect me from this environment. It hurts me. It's really difficult for me. I cannot live in this environment. Seeing my brother, my mom, my dad giving me, negative feedbacks, or this weird look that, I was yesterday one of their daughters, and now I became a stranger. They are not even looking at me. They are not even talking with me. Wallahi, it's difficult for a person by himself when he lives into that situation. So, my advice to the sister and anyone who is going through this, and unfortunately I know a person in Kuwait, a boy, 15 years old. His whole family is a secular family, Muslim family, but does not believing, but no praying, nothing. And Allah gave this young boy hidayah. And he started practicing, following hidayah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the guidance came from Allah, and he started practicing. Only by he doing the rituals, the whole family became against this little boy. Because he's practicing. So you can imagine how difficult it is, especially for a new Muslim. So all you need is to make sabr, have sabr, patience, and make dua to them that Allah will give them hidayah, and to protect yourself from any difficulties that you will face. And if your relation is okay with them, you can talk, you can give and take, you have a conversation with them. Then time to time just be nice to them. Only, deal with nice. I'm not saying give da'wah. Because your akhlaq, your manners, you're dealing with, your parents and brothers, it's da'wah by itself. It's da'wah by itself. Otherwise, I know, maybe you will go and say, that, I wanted to talk to you about Islam. They will say, hell to Islam. We don't care. So why to hear something that you don't like? I want to talk about Allah, they will abuse Allah. So why you have to bring these things that you will hear again back and you will hurt yourself? So if you know your family member, that's why I'm giving you just a general idea or general answer, because everyone knows his family members and how they talk and how they react. But if this is the situation, ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect you, make dua for them, and have patience. Wallahu a'lam. May Allah make it easy for you. Yes, sir.
You have a question? Yeah, go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. So actually I was confronted with this question twice. It's by an atheist actually. And you see, I mean, we all know that there are wars happening around the world, like in Syria or in Rohingya and all these places, they're suffering. And so this person, he asked me that if there is God, then why are people suffering? And this is one of the most common questions that we always get asked from an atheist especially. So I did not know how to answer them, so I need help for that.
It's very common, especially as the sister says, coming from the atheist. Now I used to talk to some of the atheists before, and then I found myself that I'm wasting my time. Honestly, I'm wasting my time. Because this person, this atheist, does not have any base. Nothing. If I'm talking to Christian, I said, okay, you're a Christian? Yeah, I'm a Muslim. You talk about what? Justice, injustice, woman, war, this and that. I said, okay. If you're talking about women, it says in the Bible, I go back to his or her Bible, and I will say, this is what you say. This is what the Jesus did. This is what it says in Luke and Mark and Matthew and whatsoever the books that you have. I have a basic. When I talk to another person, a Buddhist or whosoever, I can refer back to his own book, right? This person, these jokers, they don't have anything. So where I stand, if I tell him something, only they have is to neglect you. That's it. Neglect your answer. Even if you give them the best answer, no, but why this? It's always why this is happening. If your God is so merciful, then why there are handicaps? If He is so good, then why there are poor people? If He is so merciful, and if He is the rich, they know about Islam, that Allah's name is Al-Ghani, the most richest. If He is the most richest, then why in Africa people are dying out of hunger? And they will just come with why? That's it. Even if you say there is a hikmah behind it, there is a wisdom behind it, you don't understand. Yeah, but why this is happening? Why? Always. So it's like, he is just throwing on you, and you're just like, like a goalkeeper trying to, just leave it. Just leave it. If believe me, if you give the most accurate answer to them, sister, they will come up with something else, and they say, but why is like that? And then you will struggle to give 100% accurate answer, and then they will say, so what? Why have to waste my time? So I advise all of you, I know this, by the way, this atheist thing in atheism is spreading like fire, not only in Western countries in Asia, even in Arab countries. Before I come here, I was with Brother Hamza Zortis in Kuwait. You know Hamza Zortis from Ayala, from the UK. And he is, mashallah, he is the best person in replying to the atheism and talking about atheism. We invited him to Kuwait to talk to the Kuwaitis and the universities, because it's spreading among the students, even in Kuwait. Even in Qatar, Bahrain, all, we are not angels, by the way, living there. We have problems, we have similar mindset, because this is it. Once, unfortunately, a Muslim tried to be a modern, an open-minded person, and all these new labels that, the media is coming to us, once you come and involve yourself into it, then these ideas will come to you. So the best option, and I will not give you an answer for this reason that you asked, why Syria, here and there, war is going on, because it's useless. I may spend maybe half an hour to tell you an answer, and then you will take this answer to that person. He will just, like this, change his answer, his question, but why this happening here? But why is like that? But why you got this? It's baseless. So I'm doing my effort, coming back with the answers. At the end, he is changing his question like a blink of eye. So the best thing is to ignore these people. Say, I'm not interested to talk about it. Oh, so your Allah is like this. Oh, so your God is not... Yes, brother. Okay? Yeah, please, please.
Can I just add something to this?
Yes, yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Sorry about this for you.
Jazakallah khair.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. You see, like the Sheikh said, this is something which is being faced by many youngsters around the world, and as a person who has grown up, and I'm not so old as well, so this is, like the Sheikh said, because if you were to present them with one answer, the atheist will keep on giving you different answers. Okay.
I want to give water to Sheikh.
Okay, about me.
So they will keep on presenting you with different answers. One thing is that we have to realize, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that that time will come where a person will ponder upon the creation, and he will think, okay, so who created the skies? And obviously he will think Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the sky. So he will start off and he will keep on thinking about who created this, and then eventually the question will come into his mind that who created Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Yeah? So this is something that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he told us in a hadith that this will happen. And then he said at that time you should stop and say astaghfirullah al-azim and amantu billahi wa rasulihi, that I believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and I believe in the Prophet of Allah. So the thing is that these questions, they have no ending to them. And one of the most important things that we have to realize is that a person can spend his entire time, but there are some things that are known only to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For example, this question you asked about why Muslims suffering here, why people suffering here, why people suffering over there. You can say that human is morally responsible for something, but then the questions go on. The Shaykh said, a time has to come where you have to say, okay, this is it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He knows more than me. And then a person, can I just add a few more things? Okay, it's your time. So, and then a person can say something else, okay, so how do you know that Islam is a true religion? How do you know that we are following the true religion? There are other signs for us to know about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And after about suffering from kind of atheism for a long time in my life as well, a solution that I've come to is that Allah has given us the rationale to make us believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But then after this, to know why Allah is doing this, why Allah is doing that, why Allah is doing this, why Allah is running the world like this, the best answer is Allah has been running the world, He is the king, just leave it to Him, He knows what He's doing better. You know, these questions, they will keep on going on, and inshallah, hopefully, we hope, and inshallah, make dua that one day I'm able to do a sort of workshop on this, that how can we answer these questions that are arising. Why? Because this is happening all over the world. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the ability to understand this.
Just adding to that.
Actually, my question was answered by our friend.
Just let me add into this, and then inshallah, I'll keep it with you, inshallah. May Allah reward Sheikh Ibrahim on adding on to this. And the main important thing, by the way, sometimes it's not that they want to know the answer. It's not about atheists want to know the answer. The purpose of them to put doubt in your mind. Because again, now let's say, mashallah, sister now just spoke, and alhamdulillah, we discussed about it. Just imagine if she is not talking to us. She is not telling her parents about it. And then this question is moving in her mind. Yes, if Allah is there, and we know that Allah is Rahman, Ar-Rahim, the most merciful, the most, everything, all the names and attributes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the best one, then why people are being killed? Why there is war going on here and there? Why? And then she is start doubting. Then the time will come, may Allah protect her, not her, but the time will come for this person that salah is missed, doesn't matter. Because still I'm confused. I have to know the answer, then my iman will be complete, then I will pray. Then one prayer is missing now. Then 2 prayers is missing. Then 4, then 5. And then you will find this person gradually, and the Shaykh said, according to the hadith, because you are thinking, gradually going all the way to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then you will say then, who created Allah? If this is the thing, and then the science now tells us, unfortunately, and this was the question came to me yesterday, from a sister, mashallah. She is hijab, naqab, everything, and she said, about the science, she said that because this is what we read in universities, science says that for everything, it has to be, coming from something else.
Except the Creator.
This is what we believe, but the science now saying for everything, it should be something else that's creating it, right? Then it goes all the way back, so the who created Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we don't know. There might be something bigger than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. and they will create a problem, you know. And as I said at the beginning, they also said that if you cannot touch something, if you cannot smell something, if you cannot, then the God does not exist, because you cannot see him, you cannot touch him, you cannot feel him, blah, blah, blah. So the best option is, if you get any kind of these kind of question, leave it. Especially most of the brothers and sisters, you are not specialists in the deen, or in the you know, field of, let's say, da'wah, that you can go and get these answers, or you have link with the mashayikh or ulama that they can give you, because again, we are limited. So the best option, whenever you get these kind of questions, just take it out from your brain and don't bother yourself and them to know the answer.
The youngsters that are suffering, I think we should make dua for them.
May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for, you know, the youth. Wallahi, they are suffering. The brother said they are suffering. I know they are suffering even in Muslim countries. They are suffering in Saudi. By the way, I'm telling you. Yes. Everywhere they are suffering because of this. And by the way, this is altogether another topic, but this is the agenda. This is the worldwide agenda. They are trying to put this through the universities, through the educational thing, and through the educated people, to make the educated people, those who are studying in the university, to believe in science, and then to neglect the fact of Allah and His Qudra and His Khalq and everything, and then they will end up atheists. So really, the youth are facing a lot of difficulties. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for them, and I believe inshallah ta'ala we came to the end of the session. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it easy for us. And I ask Allah
since the response is very good,
yes,
we have just the last question.
Yes. MashaAllah. Get it. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yeah, we have a verse in the Holy Quran that anyone who is led astray, nobody can give him the straight path. And anyone who is given the straight path cannot be led astray. So these people who were led astray, they are doomed to Jahannam. So my question is, what is the reason in the first place why these people were created? If Allah already knows that they will be thrown into the fire.
It's a question of basically about qadar, you know. And this is a big confusion, mashallah. I believe this is a very good question at the end. Thank you for your question. I believe to understand of this question. Basics. So inshallah, I'll give you the basics, inshallah. This talks about qadar. There's many hadith that talks that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has been written al-qadar, this thing, right? And many people think that, okay, if Allah already in al-lawh al-mahfuz, in the preserved tablet, in the seventh heaven, if everything is written, then this person is definitely, not you, Sheikh, yeah, someone else. You know, he's looking at him, not you. Okay, this person will go to hell. And if this person is written for him to go to heaven, then why he have to worship? He will end up in heaven, you know. And it's making a lot of confusion. Then a person said, then why I have to work? Then why I have to pray? And why I have to, you know, waste my time, astaghfirullah, by saying, you know, waste my time going to the masjid and reading Quran, this and that. If I want to end up in the hellfire, then I don't have to do it. And if I'm supposed to end up in the Jannah, in the paradise, then anyways I will end up. No, it's not like that. We have to understand qadar, and it's very simple. Very simple, very basic. Number one, Allah Almighty, He knows the past, right? And He knows the present, right? And He knows the future, right? Before coming to this point, I'll give you an example for yourself. Now, let's say there's an engineer, a car engineer, okay? Who is dealing with the car and repairing the car and doing everything of the car A to Z from last 30 to 40 years. So this guy has experience of 40 years, right? And then he is standing one day out of his shop, out of his company, whatsoever. And then a brother comes with his car, driving, and just passing by to say salam to this man. And this man looks at the car and he will say, Haji Saab, whosoever, your tire will blast after a few miles. And he will say, no, it's fine, it's working with me, I'm driving the car all the way from my home to here. But because this guy is having an experience of car and everything, just by looking at it, He knew that, okay, after 5 kilometers, it will gonna blast, but because I know the situation of the star, right? The guy will not believe, no, I know it's going, and exactly this will happen. He drives for 5-10 minutes, right? How he knew this guy? How he came to know that this star will blast in 10 kilometers or after 10-15 minutes? How? Experience, right? Now, وَلِلَّهِ الْمَثَلِ الْأَعْلَى, that Allah's example is above everything. He knows about our past, He knows about our future, He knows about our present and future, right? So, He wrote my and your destiny based on our own action. Tomorrow, if I get up and then I'll go and eat my breakfast, I want to go and eat, let's say, fruits, and I will not find fruits. So I will end up eating a bread and an egg. Did Allah know that this will happen?
Yeah.
That I have the intention to eat the fruit, I will go to eat the fruit is not there, I will end up taking bread and egg and eat it, right?
Yeah.
So Allah knows already tomorrow this will gonna happen. I don't know. I have the intention to go and eat the fruits. But Allah knows I will end up eating the what? The egg and bread, right? Based on my action, He wrote everything. So I cannot blame Allah that, Allah, because Allah wrote for me to eat an egg and bread, that's why I ate it. No. It was because of my actions. Right? I'm holding this bottle, right? I'm holding this bottle. It's in my hand. It's in my hand because this is the free will of choice. It's in my hand. Either put it down, right? Either put it down or take it and throw it on a sheikh, right? Or hit him, right? Now I will say, no, because Allah written on me, I have to hit the sheikh, so I hit him. Allah has written because I have to go and slap someone, so I will slap him. It's not, it doesn't work like that. Exactly, Allah has written upon us what we will do because He is Al-Alim, He knows the future. He is all-knowing. So we cannot mix two things that, okay, if Allah already has written on him, he will end up in the hellfire. He will end up in the hellfire. No. In fact, we have a hadith that a person, will live his whole life, sinful life, as a non-believer. فَيَسْبُقْ عَلَيْهِ الْكِتَابِ. So, something he will do at the end of his life, and he will end up dying as a believer, and he will go to Jannah. And similarly, a person living his life, all his life, as a good human being, وَيَسْبِقْ عَلَيْهِ الْكِتَابِ. So he will, at the end, will do something, he himself. It's not that because Allah wants him to do. He will do something really miserable. He will die on that status, and he will end up into the hellfire. So we try our best, and we take the best option. It's in your hand. We cannot blame Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because He has written upon us. So this is, in simple words, this is al-qadar. We cannot just say because it has been written, Allah wrote it, because He already knew what the human being will do. Based on this action, it was written. And there is one important thing. I will conclude with it. Prophet ﷺ said, لا يرد القضاء إلا الدعاء. That nothing can change al-qadar except dua. So look how powerful the dua is, which is your connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you always ask Allah for the success. Ask Allah for your parents, for your family members to get hidayah. Ask, that Allah will keep you successful in your life. Allah will give you the most beneficial knowledge and wisdom so you can deal with people. Ask Allah, even if there is, let's say, nothing in your tablet or something really miserable in your tablet, because of your dua, it can be changed. So dua is the most important thing to change al-qadr and do, whatever you want to do in your life. Allah ta'ala alam. Jazakum Allah khair, brothers and sisters, for your time. That's it, inshallah. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you, bless your time, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put all this gathering, as something that will benefit us in dunya. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as He gathered us in this place, He gathered us in Jannatul Firdaus. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Jazakum Allah khair. One last thing. Sorry. Jazakallah. Actually, may Allah reward brother, he reminded me. Now, I told you about da'wah and how to involve yourself into da'wah and all of these things. This will make it easy for you. These two things, one is in English, one is in Chinese. What is this exactly? This is back in Kuwait, mashallah, the e-dawah committee, electronic dawah committee that we have, they developed this small booklet that in this booklet, we have QR code. You know QR code, right? Yes. So in this booklet, we have more than 50 books. More than 50 books in different topics. Talks about atheism, talks about Christianity, talks about Muhammad, talks about Quran, talks about whatsoever. So the minimum thing that you can do after giving da'wah to someone or talk to him, just hand over him this. All he has to do is take whatever the subject that he likes. He will take his mobile